This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Junior.
The Mexican Ray Phoenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted Wide Open. Thank you.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the Busted Wide Open universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 346 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And Revelations chapter 23, verse 1. And lo, did the lone wolf raise himself up to a high place, but down fell he in piteous disgrace, and in so doing gained the love of the people, whose temperaments were wanton and fickle. And so began the end times and the fall of man. I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and yes, we are here to tell you that it was actually written about in the Bible that a Baron Corbin face turn will bring about the biblical apocalypse. And here we are. His finishing move is the end of days. It was in front of us all along, Nick, and we never knew.
Kevin Smith tried to warn us with Red State.
They tried to tell us.
They've been trying to tell us.
They tried to tell us, but now it's upon us. It's the end of times. It's the end of times, Nick. Baron Corbin is turning face. We have so much to talk about tonight on Busted Wide Open. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So much to discuss. We got to talk about SmackDown, which just went off the air. John Cena, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor. So much to discuss over there. We have to talk about NXT. Would Samoa Joe finally put his hands on Karrion Kross? Would the audience reject Karrion Kross after being rolled up like a bitch by Jeff Hardy on Monday Night Raw? And also to talk about AEW Fyter Fest 2 Texas Death Match between Jon Moxley and Lance Archer for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship and lots more. It's a huge show today, Nick.
Yes,
so we have no time to dawdle. Let's do our business, smack, and let's get into the show.
Linktree.com/BWO. You guys know where to find us at this point. That's where you can find all the links to all of our social media stuff. Make sure you're following us everywhere. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and head over to patreon.com/BWO if you want to support the show. Or you can drop your bits and subs here on Twitch, your joins and your super chats over on YouTube. And if you want to pick up some cool exclusive swag from your boys here at BWO, you can head to BWOmerch.com. Pick up a t-shirt, mouse pad, coffee mugs, all stickers, all kinds of good stuff. Over there is BWOmerch.com. Thank you guys for all of the support, all of the word of the mouth, helping get the word out about you boys here at Busted Wide Open. But as you said, Ian, there is a lot to talk about tonight. Oh, one small piece of business. Mr. Divian resubscribed with the Twitch Prime for 11 months. My goodness. Thank you very much, Mr. Divian. You get a little piece of good chicken. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for that, Kyle. I'm going to save yours until later because reasons. But let's head over and start with what happened tonight over on Friday Night Smackdown.
John Cena opens the show. No surprise there. It's the summer of Cena. I have a suspicion we're going to have to get used to this. He's back. The crowd loves him. He's here to soak up all of the attention and call out Roman Reigns, who he had a whole speech before this, too. He hyped up the crowd for a long time. They just basically let him go off. But he finally got down to business, which is basically, are y'all team jorts or team cargo pants? Are you team hustle, loyalty, and respect, or are you team the fans reject us every time? Cute. Yeah. That was the only fourth wall he broke, though. Aside from that, it was pretty straight up. It's like, I've come back to save SmackDown. Roman's a joke. He's boring. I'm John Cena. God damn it. Cheer for me. So he calls out Roman. Roman doesn't show up. He kind of has fun with it. Please, Roman, please come out. No, yeah. Roman has some fun with it. And then finally out comes Paul Heyman, who says, John Cena, it's not that Roman can't see you. It's that he can't hear you. You're beneath him. You're a loser. Get out of here.
I like how he did the hand wave on the ear.
Yeah. Heyman was classic here.
Yeah.
Classic. He and Cena have a long storied past. He better be careful if Cena's going to wash his mouth out with soap again. So Heyman comes out, mocks Cena's entrance, mocks Cena, and says, yeah, Roman will get back to you, dude.
Yeah.
And Cena's like, oh, right. I forgot. That's how things go around here now.
Yeah.
And he kind of dejectedly gets out of the ring, which I thought was that was a big dick move on Roman's part right there. After all the shit that Cena was talking about, like, yeah, I'm back, I'm John Cena, and Roman just kind of went, it's still my show, dude.
Yeah.
You can lick my balls.
Yeah.
But Heyman, I think Heyman making fun of Roman's song is all time.
Oh God, him doing that is definitely gonna be memed on forever. I love it.
Yeah, totally. So it's good stuff.
How do we get to we got to talk about the end, because that happened
right
at the
now,
top of the show, and then there's something else that went down at the end of the show that kind of turned that on its head.
Well, but that's because Roman Reigns has to close the show.
Of course.
It works in kayfabe. It works in real life. It just makes sense. And so after the penultimate match of the night, which involved the Usos, which we'll talk about later on, Roman comes out to stand with his Usos, everyone draped in gold, or, cheap-looking nickel, if the case of the Usos. And Roman gets in the ring and says, let me respond to John Cena. No. You're beneath me. These fans can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass. This is my show. I'm Roman Reigns. You acknowledged me already. The fans acknowledged me. People at home acknowledged me. No, John, you don't get your match at SummerSlam. And he seems like he's wrapping up when all of a sudden Finn Balor's music hits.
What?
Now, Finn had already been on the show. Finn had the first match of the night against Sami Zayn. He beat him fairly clean. It was just a completely straightforward match. WWE style. Finn gets beaten down for the first half of the match. Ultimately, mounts a babyface comeback and wins. The crowd goes wild. The formula still works. Fine. So Finn gets a big win and then comes out at the end of the show and goes, hey, Roman, if you don't want to take John Cena's challenge, how about you take mine? And
crowd
Roman,
goes wild.
And Roman goes, pauses for a second, enough time for the crowd to start screaming, you're scared, Roman's scared, at Roman. And Roman goes, okay, you got yourself a match. Huh? Okay.
So we're going to do Finn Roman at SummerSlam, not Cena Roman? Why is Cena back? Was this all a huge swerve?
No. They don't want to have any confrontations between Cena and Roman on the way to SummerSlam. They want to keep that hot. They don't want to have them in the ring together too much, or it decreases the value. Finn is here to be a heater for Roman. Finn is a hugely over face right now. They're going to spend his equity on Roman to get Roman really hated by SummerSlam and build it up, and then just be able to keep Cena away from Roman for that time.
I have a very hard question for you. Is it possible that they are going to that Roman is going to lay down for Cena's 17th at SummerSlam? Is there any remote possibility that that's what Roman has been built up to make it that monumental, to make it Mr. SummerSlam, maybe 2.0 after Shawn Michaels, Mr. SummerSlam of this generation at SummerSlam for his record-breaking 17th title reign?
It's not zero. I'll put it this way. It's not zero, Nick. It's not a 0% chance, but I don't think it's very good. I think he's here to put over Roman some more. I think it's fairly clear that's the case.
Yeah.
So
that's what my head's saying.
And we're already hearing that The Rock is supposedly coming back for Survivor Series, which indicates a build to WrestleMania for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were going to keep that in their pants until they got to LA, but maybe they're like, nope, let's spend it all right now. Let's do it all right now.
I can't imagine how bad they want WrestleMania next year to be the biggest ever.
The biggest. That's why they're probably going to say, let's do Rock Roman then.
Yep.
Let's go all out. And you know what? There's no saying they can't do it twice. They did Cena Rock twice. Why not?
Yep.
do the same thing.
We did take
at the end of this WrestleMania.
Twice,
At the end of this WrestleMania this year in Dallas, just go, hey, part 2 next year at WrestleMania, and just the whole year knowing it's going to be Rock Roman at WrestleMania part 2. Why not? It's their world. We're just living in it.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously it's the summer of Cena. They're announcing Cena for all the dates leading up to SummerSlam.
15 of them, I believe.
That indicates to me Cena will be in the house for all those shows, talking a big game, maybe doing a couple of matches, but then ultimately loses at SummerSlam and goes bye-bye back to the negative dimension, where somehow he escaped. He even made reference
Canada.
to that. Yes. He made reference to the fact that, he was asked how he got out of the alternate dimension, that is the Firefly Funhouse. Never answered it because it's WWE.
Yeah.
Who needs continuity?
No.
It's all silly. But why should you care, everybody? Don't worry, they don't.
It's like asking AJ Styles how he got out of the grave that he was buried alive in,
Doesn't matter. It's all a cartoon. It resets at the end of every episode. Who gives a crap? Hey. We don't care, and neither should you.
Exactly.
Just sit back and turn off your brain. Don't try to think, peons. Let's Kyle had some things to say about this. I want to hear what Kyle had to say.
Right. I wanted to come back to that. So he threw in 100 bits at the top of the show, said, had this thought. What if Cena cost Roman the title against Finn? Cena has stated he doesn't want the title, just wants to show up Roman. He can do that by costing Roman, and this is one feud that taking the title out of the equation does make it more intriguing. Build Cena and Roman. Finn still feels like a big deal if you do it right, and after SummerSlam, you can put the title right back on Roman. To me, it would be a fresh and unexpected road bump for what they are doing with Roman.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but my thoughts here are they just completed the prophecy and draped the bloodline in gold.
Yep.
And they've taken 18 months. No, I guess it's right at a year. Roman's had it right just shy of a year. Payback last year. It's just gotten to the point in a year where they've kind of completed phase 1. I'm anxious to see where they go with phase 2. I don't think they're going to do anything. He's carrying that title to WrestleMania.
And
period.
Rock.
Hard stop.
I tend to agree.
It's we're going to see phase 2 of the Roman cinematic universe
I
here.
feel like it actually would damage Finn more if he couldn't win without help. If he wins with help and then loses it right back without help, it kind of makes him look like more of a bitch. But if he just straight loses to Roman, which everyone does.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
It would make more sense. And, the fans will be behind him because he stepped up, babyface fire, fought valiantly through it. But scurrilous means, Usos get involved. It would make more sense. Yeah. So, thank you, Kyle. He also gifted a tier 1 sub to Crazy K and a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to read all those. Sorry. Crazy K, thank you very much for welcome to the channel. Make sure you thank Kyle for your gift sub. Thank you, Kyle, for that gift sub.
Thank you.
Threw in another 100 bits, said Roman was spitting facts, and I say that as a Cena fan. I love Cena, but his first few days have been a nostalgia act and recycling his Fiend promos so far. Side note, I absolutely love that crowd in Cleveland. Didn't even see that type of crowd pre-pandemic in WWE.
They were hot. That was a hot crowd.
We've been saying, like, the minute we got back to fans, that the crowds for the first 3 months were probably just going to be nuclear regardless of what was going on. And, Cleveland showed out tonight.
Cleveland rocks.
We were in Houston and Fort Worth, and, like, it's, Texas cities, Corpus Christi aside, Cleveland, New York, like big beachheads for WWE for sure.
Quick question, and we'll move on.
Okay.
How long does the honeymoon last?
How long with the WWE universe?
Yeah.
I mean, if Roman keeps staying hot like he is, and Cena keeps coming back for the next few weeks, Raw is the one that I'm worried about. Raw is the one that stands to get turned on real quick. If they don't figure their shit out.
Shit's going to get ugly. And it's just a matter of keeping on how much they're using the fake crowd noise.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Which was
they
used
did on this show a few
heavily
times.
tonight in another city.
Yeah, but right. So we had a very strange segment where Big E comes out to celebrate winning Money in the Bank. Everyone cheers for him. As he starts to speak, however, it gets interrupted by Apollo. My heart sank because we were all like, we have seen this.
Yep.
Apollo comes out to say, you couldn't even be, you lost the Intercontinental title to me. What does that briefcase mean? But then he gets interrupted by the Dirty Dogs, which was really random. And then they get interrupted by Cesaro. Nakamura. And then Nakamura gets interrupted by Cesaro. And then they all get into a big scuffle in the ring. And it looks like we're heading towards a 6-man tag match, which apparently we did actually get. If you had been live in the arena, it was about a 20-minute 6-man tag match.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Probably was a very fun match. No stakes, didn't mean anything, but it was probably a fun match. But we didn't see that. We went on location to Rolling Loud Rap Festival to watch Angelo Dawkins and Chad Gable and Carmella versus Bianca Belair for the Women's Championship. Again.
Oh.
And I imagine when you think Rap Festival and Dawkins versus Gable and Bianca versus Carmella, you can imagine who won. And you would be correct. Babyfaces win, and the crowd goes mild. I think there were maybe 5 people in that entire crowd who were actually into what they were seeing. A lot of pumped-in sound, a lot of pumped-in cheers. But, yeah, I'm not – I think, was this a favor to Wale? Were they trying to get some pop culture exposure? Because if so, this felt
tepid
desperate.
At best.
Tepid.
I think the telling part of it was once they went off air at Rolling Loud in Miami, WWE.com put up a video on social media that showed Bianca Belair introducing Trey David from the Atlanta Hawks, announcing that the New Year's Day pay-per-view was coming back, and it was going to be in Atlanta. And the crowd couldn't have given less of a shit. There were supposedly 200,000 people there. Yep. And you could have heard a pin drop over a light hum.
And from what I understand from reading Twitter, apparently the crowd was a little dead. Even for the actual acts, they were a little dead. They'd also been there standing for 7 hours.
Oh, well, yeah.
And they're not a captive WWE audience. So, yeah, not a good look.
No.
Not a good look.
I would have actually liked to have seen the 6-man tag match. Thank you very much. I tuned in for wrestling, not a rap concert. They came for a rap concert, not wrestling.
Yeah. It was a cute stunt. Will anyone in that crowd go tune into WWE as a result of seeing them at that festival?
No. They went and got another beer and smoked another joint. You know, that's what you do at music festivals.
Well, no one was leaving because you don't want to leave your spot in a music festival because you're never going to get it back.
I mean, we've all been to Coachella and had like impromptu wrestling matches in the desert, right? Like we all do that, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one that does that, right?
You might.
All right.
You might.
I take that back. Listen, the Rolling Loud thing, I sometimes like how WWE experiments with this kind of stuff for the pop culture and mainstream crossover. I assume that there was some merch that they were also, selling out there, and they probably had a stand at the festival and whatever that was.
Probably had some meets and greets and stuff, just to glad hand the audience. Yeah, absolutely.
It was not a good look for the 2 million-ish people that were probably watching TV. Like, probably couldn't care less about that there's a Rolling Loud festival going on in Miami.
Yeah. It was a cute experiment. I'll leave it at that.
Also, one last thing. God, I bet that stunk. You ever been to Miami in late July? It's
a music festival.
Miserable. It's like
don't smell good.
cheese soup. It is so thick with humidity down there. I can't imagine. You said they've been standing around for 7 hours.
Have you been to a good-smelling music festival?
Touche. Fair point. That's usually mostly because the people have been there for 3 days in the desert and haven't bathed in a week.
Right. Hot or cold. They smell like crap. People are smelly animals, especially at music festivals. So I don't go to them.
Yeah.
Kyle threw another 100 bits. He said crowd in Miami was not great, which I don't blame considering you can't see any in-ring action on that stage. Also true.
Yes.
But I also think this is still worth doing again and was worth doing. These were the right people to introduce to possible new fans. Agreed. A good way to grow your existing audience, in my opinion. There is enough there. You will get some. Pennies on the dollar. But, yeah, true. And I think they're just like, we'll take what we can get. Why not?
If you convert 10%, it's a win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on SmackDown, Edge comes out. He is pissed at Seth Rollins. So he says, come on out, Rollins. And Rollins comes on out to say, I should have finished what I did 8 years ago and snapped your neck. And if I get a chance again, I won't hesitate this time. Seth starts out being really like funny and goofy and whatnot and gets real sinister when he gets in the ring. Seth has done a really good job recently of balancing being a goofball and being sinister. And this was a great example of that. And I love the fact that Edge was like, Seth, do you know who I am? I was in the Brood. I was in the Ministry of Darkness. You have no idea the depths to which I'll sink to get you. I am the ultimate manipulator. And he says, Seth, come on in the ring. I won't lay a hand on you. And Seth gets in the ring, whispers in his ear, I'll break your neck next time. And Edge says, hey, Seth, remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied. No, he actually said what I said. I wouldn't put hands on you. I lied, Seth. I lied. And he starts beating the crap out of Seth. They get into a tussle. Edge ends up getting the better of it. Seth escapes out the ring. It's on, baby. Seth versus Edge might steal the show at SummerSlam. Just throwing that out there right now.
I gotta admit, I'm more hyped about that than I am Cena Roman or Finn Roman.
That match is going to rule balls.
Yes.
And
that's
the
7 years in the making.
The payoff. I remember getting chills when Seth at the time had Edge in the ring, was threatening to stomp his neck into pieces. And Cena was outside the ring at the time. He was holding Cena off.
Yep.
I remember getting chills. I was like, that is one of the darkest things WWE's done in a long time. It's left a big impression. So the fact that they're calling that back and that all these years later, Edge is now able to get redemption for that. Beautiful storytelling, beautiful opportunity. Cannot wait.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Nick, it finally happened. Your girl.
I've been waiting for this moment. I knew the day would come. It wasn't a matter of if, it was when.
Oh, yeah.
That Tony Storm would take the WWE main roster by storm. And the person that I feel bad here, he'll feel bad for here, is Zelina Vega.
Yeah. Yeah, she debuted against Zelina Vega, who apparently re-signed with WWE to be a jobber. A jobber.
To debuting NXT Superstars.
Woo! Wow. Aren't you glad you came back, Zelina?
Hope
3 losses in a
contract.
row. 3 losses in a row for Zelina Vega. Tony looked great, got a nice little pop. She could be an enormous star in SmackDown. The landscape is set for her to be a huge star. Just absolutely. What do you think about her debuting as a face?
Love it. I think it's the right thing to do. The crowd pops big. Obviously know who she is. It's scary that she's still mid-20s and has accomplished everything that she has and has still so much more. Has barely had a cup of coffee on the main roster yet. Like if she takes this momentum and drives it forward, she's got a big, long career on the main roster, I hope. Because I agree, there is nothing going on in the women's division on SmackDown. And by nothing, I mean nothing happening in the women's division on SmackDown. We had Bianca and Carmella was the best thing we could feature at Rolling Loud in front of 200,000 people tonight.
And it's the only match they could do because everyone else is gone. There's no one else. Is there no one else?
No, there's
no
not.
One else.
No.
There's no one else.
No.
There's no one else.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, happy for Tony Storm, but we have 2 active heels on the SmackDown roster and a draft in October. Bianca is a face champ with no heels. I feel they needed Tony starting as heel because, frankly, she's a stronger promo as a heel.
I agree she's a stronger promo, but I think she gives off babyface vibes.
Totally.
A lot harder.
That whole Rockstar thing comes out. That's not going to be a heel thing.
Nah. Upper mid-card face.
Yep.
On SmackDown until she gets the championship. That's what I think. Jimmy Uso had a match with Dominic, and just like the pre-show on Money in the Bank, Jey Uso helps Jimmy roll up Dominic. He holds him in place after kind of a sloppy little sequence at the end there. And Dominic loses. And then the Usos stand tall, and Roman Reigns comes out. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looked glorious when the Usos went back up the ramp, and Roman comes out, and they're standing at the top, and you had that big ultra-wide shot of the Tron. Oh, my God.
Yep.
That is the end. We're at the end of phase 1. Where it goes from here is going to be interesting. Like, we have completed everything we set out to build when Roman took it off the Fiend last year.
There's something about that Carmina Burana-esque music track of Roman's. All the stand out there just bathed in light. It's great. And finally, we mentioned at the top of the show, Baron Corbin. He's down on his luck. He had an interview with Caleb Braxton where he said, yeah, that website he was trying to raise money on, well, the dude who was running the website ghosted him and stole his identity and all his credit cards. Things just aren't going well for Baron Corbin.
Backstage, he was even wearing the same shirt from last week, which was genius. Same ketchup stain and everything.
Same spaghetti.
Or spaghetti, canned spaghetti. SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't say SpaghettiOs on TV.
Good stuff. Backstage, we find Kevin Owens trying to help Knox and Shotzi put their tank back together. They're fake working on it. It's cute. He says, "Why don't you hit that with that thing?" And they're like, "Yeah, we tried that." He's like, "Okay, that's all I got for you." He starts to walk off, and Corbin hits him up again. And Kevin says, "You're kind of a dick, and that's why people don't like you. Maybe don't be a dick to people."
Right.
And Corbin's like, "You're right, man. You're totally right. I feel awful. I'm just in a bad place, man. It really sucks." And Kevin Owens feels bad for him. Kevin Owens takes pity on Baron Corbin and gives him $40. And Corbin's like, "Dude, you have no idea how much this will do for me." Very earnestly. He's like, "This is going to go a long way. Thank you so much." And Owens says, "No problem." And as Owens walks away, we pan back to Shotzi and Knox, who get their cannon fixed. And it fires right into Baron Corbin's crotch. And he drops to the ground, and the Dirty Dogs take his money.
He got rolled by the Dirty Dogs.
Like high school bullies. They were just straight like, "Hey, thanks for the money, cat."
Yeah.
Yeah. Idiot.
We're eating good tonight. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, dude, not only is it looking like, and then Kevin Owens comes in and chases them off. Nick, am I crazy? Or are we heading towards a Baron Corbin face turn and team up in a tag team with Kevin Owens? What is this world?
I want this to drag out a little bit more. I feel like it's just hitting its stride. I want to see him struggle a little bit more as far as, these kinds of situations that he's finding himself in and what he's going through as part of this, failure process and all of it. I want to see a little bit more. I don't know if I want to throw him right in a tag team. I could see a thing where he's having a match and maybe Kevin Owens, he's getting beat down after the match, maybe by the Dirty Dogs. KO comes out for a save and it's slow rolling. Sure. Right?
Right. Like he's out there facing Dolph Ziggler and Rude's ringside, and Rude keeps getting involved, and so Kevin comes out to be on his side. Another couple, stretch it out for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Don't go straight into next week they're a tag team.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Definitely.
But at the same time, this was freaking hilarious.
This was awesome.
This was wonderful.
C Jinx 879 threw in 1,000 bits.
Oh!
I think I figured out who our new baller patron is, Ian.
Yes.
So I think it's C
so.
Jinx. We would try if you're our newest patron, we'll be in touch. Thank you very much. Been listening to BWO since episode 82.
Oof.
That's
a while.
You're in like 2018 territory there. Good job, man. But this week I happily became a Patreon backer. You guys are awesome and looking forward to a video chat in the future. You will be getting one. Plus, you'll be getting to design your own segment once a month that we'll be doing as part of the show as well. So we definitely have some things to talk about. So we'll be in touch. I'll shoot you a note later tonight.
Thank you,
and
man.
thank you very much for all the support and the 1,000 bits, man. Thank you. Just
very much.
Thank you so much. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, "I haven't laughed that hard at a juvenile nut shot like that in a long time." And Dolphin Rude, Roland Corbin, and Corbin and Owens deadpan was just all excellent. Timing all perfect for comedic impact. Someone even dubbed "So You Had a Bad Day" over it. So YouTube, you had a bad day. Is that song? Is that what you're I didn't hear that.
No. You go. It's on YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. Speaking of dubbing, I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing it in the Facebook group, the BWO discussion group.
Oh, I knew you'd love that.
The My Way montage of Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. That was mwah.
The only
for
time
some reason that song works mostly just for pay-per-view builds and wrestling feuds.
I will never ever post Limp Bizkit ever. That's the only time. That's it.
If it's a wrestling
feud. You get the one.
The one time?
That's it. The one time.
It was quality. It was really good.
Thank you.
You guys check that out in the group if you haven't yet.
Yeah. But that was it for SmackDown. Yep. It was a pretty straightforward show. Nothing too big, but it was great to have a crowd back. Made everything a lot more exciting, and we definitely have some questions going forward. But we also have questions going forward on another brand of WWE, which got a little more respect on SmackDown this week. They kept referencing NXT champions. I wonder if that was a a little bit of an apology for Monday. But they did have a lot more to do over on NXT.
Oh, boy. Well, we kicked things off with Samoa Joe just storming out to the ring. And this happened. We haven't seen Samoa Joe this pissed probably since Brock Lesnar. 2018.
It's so good.
Oh,
I love
he's just
angry
coming out.
Joe.
He's covered in sweat. Looks like he just got out of a swimming pool.
Breathing through his nose.
Right. Just like a raging bull. Just going.
Yep.
At the end of the show, after the final match, the main event, we thought we were done. We thought we were going out. Nope. Out comes Samoa Joe storming back out to the ring, kind of pseudo interrupting their exit.
Well, you're missing a thing there, because he came out the top of the show and called out Karrion Kross and was informed by William Regal, came to the ring, hey, dude, you can't get violent with him.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, he laid hands on me. I'd call out getting provoked. And Regal says, yeah, you were a referee at the time, not a WWE official. And Joe goes, that's freaking semantics.
Yeah.
You of all people talking to me about semantics. I'm going to get this dude. And Regal's like, I want you to not lay hands on him. Joe says, I can't promise nothing. And for the rest of the show, Joe is stalking by the front door of the building, waiting for Karrion Kross to show up. And so sure enough, at the end, the car drives up. He runs out there, pulls a guy out of the car. It's not Kross. Realizes Kross is in the building, runs back inside down to the ring, calls him out, and Kross shows up on the monitor on a camera saying, hey, Joe, guess what? I got you. Who provoked who? This is what happens when you mess with me. I can hurt anything I want. This NXT title makes me invulnerable. I can hurt whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. I'm the NXT champ. Oh, just to prove it, lays the camera down next to a fallen William Regal. He beat up William Regal. He gets into his car.
Son of a bitch.
And we stay with that camera by Regal's face as Joe runs out as Kross's car peels away. With Joe going, "Rawr!" Oh, Karrion Kross, you rat bastard. Is he ruined? Is Karrion Kross ruined?
Yeah.
Really? So none of this worked for you?
It worked
after the Jeff Hardy loss.
It worked to pop the crowd for Samoa Joe. It worked to get me back invested in Samoa Joe. None of this made me more interested in Karrion Kross, honestly, especially after Raw the previous night.
So they mentioned at the top of the show, Joe goes, he feels like he's above the law. You saw him take that excursion to Raw. The crowd didn't really react to it at the time, but we did hear that because they also taped next week's episode, we did hear that there was a segment where Kross came out and cut a promo, probably for next week, and the crowd wouldn't stop chanting Hardy, Hardy, Hardy at him. And so they had to re-record the segment and tell the crowd, you got to stay quiet because there's a surprise coming. And so the crowd stayed quiet, and then no surprise came, and the crowd was all pissed. Then they tricked him into being quiet.
So we have the fortunate benefit of having
Anna was actually there.
Our resident NXT expert
yes.
and attendee, Anna, in the chat, and she was saying something in Discord about it was really hot in there and everybody needed water and they were chanting, "We want water." And that was the reason that they restarted the taping of it. So I'm sure Anna in chat here will confirm one way or another. But
confirm or deny that they were chanting Hardy at him, because that's what I was reading online.
They had to refilm because everyone ran off to the tables to get water.
Oof. They don't have AC in the PC?
It's probably pretty loud in there when they run that shit. It wasn't because of the Hardy chants that they
But there were
retaped.
Hardy chants.
But there were Hardy chants, sure.
Well,
I don't think they would
if they keep
refilm
them in.
something because of that.
I'm curious if they keep the Hardy chants in. Although I suppose, here's my question. If they do keep them in, if Kross comes back on Raw this Monday and beats Hardy, you could keep those chants in and they wouldn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
So that'll be curious to see how they handle that.
Yeah. Kyle 300-bit said, I know it didn't end up working, but Kross killing Regal is about the only thing NXT could do to try and salvage Kross from the Hardy match any way you can. That rat bastard. By the way, they had lightning pop off in the background as Kross left Regal's dead body. but the aura is gone, and Walter versus Dragunov should main event takeover with no question because of what Raw did to Kross.
It won't.
It won't.
It might open the show.
Yeah.
But it's Samoa freaking Joe. Yeah. And it's for the NXT Championship. Yeah. It will main event.
Yeah.
But will Joe beat Kross? Will Joe be allowed to wrestle? 1. 2, will he beat Kross and have that be the way that he's sent off to Raw? Or will Joe say, I'm not going to win the championship, but if I beat you in this match, you'll be stripped and the championship will be vacant? And then that way, you could even theoretically have it where Kross goes to Raw and says, I never lost the championship. But if he doesn't beat
kind
Joe,
of an
but Joe
Asuka
strips
sort of thing.
If he gets stripped of the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that would even be valuable given that they had him just job out to Jeff Hardy this week. Like, what does it mean if you can't beat Jeff Hardy in 90 seconds? If Jeff Hardy can beat you in 90 seconds, what does it matter that you were NXT champion? Why is that even relevant on the main roster? That's my concern. It kind of erases the need to tout him as the undisputed, never lost at NXT champion.
Yeah. It's a difference between show and tell, right? You can tell someone all day long that someone's a badass, but unless they win matches and are shown to be a badass, you don't believe it.
Which he's extremely portrayed that way on NXT, but
yeah.
Boy, they better fix that on Raw or here. Killer Kross going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's going to take Scarlett with him. Because apparently, what's she going to do now?
That's the question.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on in the women's division, though. Raquel Gonzalez had a match with Xia Li. She did what started off as a Vader bomb and ended up being a twisting senton to Xia close to the end of this match. And Xia looks like she got legit injured. Like she was really hurting after ribs or internal organs or something. They felt like she was cleared to finish the match. So after a couple of minutes of uncomfortable silence, she was given a big old power bomb by Raquel Gonzalez, Chingona bomb, and that was it. But man, Xia Li looked like she was hurting at the end of this match.
Yeah.
So not a great finish to your main event, but at the same time, fine. It makes Raquel look even more like a monster. Great title defense for her. It's pretty much all that there is to this.
Yeah, I mean, Xia Li's been on a tear ever since the new gimmick with Bo and the Qianxia thing. I'm just not sure where they go with it from here. She didn't complete. She went through all of this training from the Dragon Master.
Apparently, they didn't train her to take a big 6-foot tall woman on her chest.
Right. No.
They didn't train that.
No.
Everything else. They did everything else. Kicked her in the face, punched her. They didn't give her the big bomb. Should have done that.
Yep.
Should have trained her on that.
Yep.
Oops.
Yep.
There's a hole in her training.
Anna said pretty sure she broke her arm like Candice did at War Games. That's damn. That's a long recovery.
We'll see. We'll see how long she's out. Someone else who has some holes in their training and needs to be trained more. Austin Theory. He picked a fight with Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle says, I'm in a fighting mood. You called me a crybaby. Why don't you come out to the ring and see how much of a crybaby I am? We're apparently on this journey right now with Kyle O'Reilly where we're finding out if he can go to that dark place that Adam Cole says he can't. In this match, we found that he could. After Austin Theory gave him a pretty good run for his money, he went to that dark place and just basically decimated Austin Theory. Just murdered, death killed him. With all apologies to Nick Gage at the end of this match. And then later on, in the back, the Way is having problems, Nick. Indy wants to kiss Dexter still. Candice is mad at everybody. Johnny's disappointed he lost to Kross. Austin's disappointed he lost to Kyle O'Reilly. Feels like this family's breaking up. Goes for the no-look 5, and Johnny doesn't reciprocate because he's busy yelling at Candice and Indy. Oh, boy. The Way is going their separate ways, Nick.
Mm-hmm. I can honestly see some kind of intergender thing here if you wanted to. Yeah, have.
You think they're actually going to have a match against each other?
Flip Indy to go with Dexter, and Dexter Indy versus Candice Johnny.
That's possible.
And kind of,
and Austin goes solo.
Wind down the Way a little bit, and then we can separate things.
Yeah, and what the match with Kyle O'Reilly reminded us was that Austin Theory is a blue chip talent.
Oh God,
the dude is he's fantastic.
Looks good, promo's good, speaks great. Like just he is the package that we saw coming from Evolve. Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait to see him do more. I'm ready for him to be done being the comedian and the goofball of the group.
Apparently, something happens next week that's really exciting with this.
Okay.
Because Anna is being very excited by this.
Yeah. When Anna's in all
meanwhile-
caps, you know it's serious.
Oh, dude. Meanwhile, over in the unexciting era, Diamond Mine had a match against Kushida and Bobby Fish, Tyler Rust and Roderick Strong, and this was actually a very, very well-worked, high-intensity match. It's just, unfortunately, I don't know about you, Nick. I'm not engaged with Diamond Mine yet. I'm not locked in with them.
No. We were
They're
talking
kind
about
of
that earlier,
bland.
too. It
Yeah.
was in Discord. Is anybody really getting it? And it's kind of missing everybody. There's no reason for it to. Tyler Rust, another blue chip candidate, should be doing well. Bobby Fish, the veteran, wily veteran in the ring. And then you've got Malcolm
Roderick
Bivens.
Strong's
You got
animal.
Roderick Strong in there. It's just something isn't
And
clicking.
Kushida. Yeah, and this whole match was like, it was a really good match. It just was hard to care.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Tyler Rust does eat the pinfall to Kushida. He taps out almost immediately in the hoverboard lock.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, you would in a Kushida Kimura lock.
well, right.
Let me go. Ow, 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 okay.
But it was strange to me that they had that ending. Why wouldn't you have some sort of skullduggery and have Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust come out on top just to extend the feud
That was my thought.
and make Diamond Mine look like a threat?
That
Because
was
right
my
now they came out, they talked a big game, and they just got beat straight up.
Yep.
How are they a threat? So they're not exciting promos. They're not an exciting team. They bring nothing to the table that's electric, and then they lose. So
I need
I'm
Malcolm
very worried
Bivens to
about-
be more of a famous B. I need him to be a big,
Yes.
loud mouthpiece that is front and center of everything, and he's got his boys. I need energy and fire coming from one of them, and I think it needs to be Bivens. I'd look at him and say step it up about 10 notches from where you think is too much. Go crazy.
All of them need to step it way up.
Yep.
Because right now Tyler Rust and Roderick Strong are their personality holes. And Bivens is dealing with the personality. He's got to be enough personality for all four of them.
Yep.
So a lot of work needed there.
Kyle the Run 100 Bits said, what are we doing with Diamond Mine? They had this hype debut, and it just fell off a cliff like Dogecoin.
Yep. Crowd was
Hell, look
hyped
at
on
Cameron Grimes built a whole gimmick around Dogecoin. Look what he's doing.
Speaking of which, Cameron Grimes, he's still LA Knight's butler. Drove him up in his beautiful car.
This
Went
is
to get his
so
bags
good.
out of the back. This whole segment was fantastic. All of these. He goes to try and get the suitcases out of the back. There's too many of them. He can't quite carry them. Drake Maverick, nice guy that he is, walks up and says, "I'll help you." LA Knight says, "No, you're not going to help him. He's my butler. This is what he does." Drake gets in LA Knight's face. LA Knight gets back in his face, and he says, "How about you and me inside?" And Drake goes, "Yeah, sounds like a good plan." So we have that match later on in the evening. And Drake gets a surprise roll-up victory on LA Knight. And Cameron Grimes is cheering him on outside. And then and he's like, "Okay, well, you got to get out of here now. You beat him. You got to get out of here." But sure enough, that wasn't fast enough. LA Knight ends up giving a big old clothesline to Drake Maverick and beating the crap out of him. And then telling Cameron Grimes, when Cameron Grimes gets in the ring and says, "That's enough," he says, No, that's not enough. You beat him up. And Grimes has that initial reaction of like, "I don't have to do this. I'm going to kick your ass." LA Knight goes, "I thought you were a man of your word. We had an agreement. Now, are you a man of your word or not?" And you can see the agony in Cameron Grimes' face. Is he a man of his word? And he ends up punching Drake Maverick, and he's beside himself about it and ends up slumming off after LA Knight. Great, tragic, wonderful segment.
Love it.
Just heightened emotions, Greek tragedy. Great stuff. And also fun and comedic at the same time.
And of course, Drake Maverick selling everything like a god and just
Like death.
just
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Also good stuff
Apparently, there's
Odyssey-
something that happens with this too.
with what? Oh, it goes. Oh, I'm sure this goes. So there's like so many places this goes.
Oh yeah.
There's so much wonderful stuff. Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones.
Might
Nick.
be my new big man.
Did we find your new favorite NXT superstar this week?
If you could take Otis and encapsulate him in a giant super athlete that was bigger than even he was, that was even more agile than he is doing the Caterpillar. Odyssey Jones looks like the real deal. Might be a more agile second coming version of Mark Henry. Like this is and better. Like this is
He's
the
got a
real
dash
deal.
A dash of Mark Henry, a dash of Keith Lee, a dash of Bronson Reed, a dash of Otis. Like he is a classic big man with a new style big man agility.
And killer name. That is a awesome
Great
wrestling name.
Very charismatic. This dude is we were talking about blue chippers earlier. To the moon, Alice.
Yep.
To the moon. This guy could go all the way. Just on what we saw last night in his victory over Andre Chase, who got some offense in. He had a couple of nice moves. He's agile, had some stuff. Had all the charisma of Roderick Strong on the toilet, but ultimately Odyssey Jones beats the crap out of him, wins. That guy is
World's strongest
one to look
slam
out
finisher too, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Speaking of winking and nudging, Legado de Fantasma was going to have a mariachi segment. They were going to bring out a whole bunch of mariachi musicians. And I was immediately going, oh, no. We're going back to the days. Going back to those days. No, because they stopped it before they were starting and said, Santos says, I don't have to entertain you, the crowd. That's not what I'm here for. You don't deserve it. And I'm not a moron like Hit Row out here singing and dancing for you. Brilliant turnabout of all of that. Brilliant way to advance that storyline, that feud. Sure enough, out comes Hit Row. They come out to take exception to that, run Legado down verbally on the mic, as you would expect. Everyone gets in the ring, a scuffle ensues, and Legado is chased from the ring. Hit Row stands tall.
I'd like to speak directly to the individual in the NXT audience that insisted on yelling Hit Row for 15 minutes straight. Stop it. Anna, you have my permission to backhand whoever that was. Just stop. It almost made me turn NXT off this week.
You have no problem with Naito, girl.
Of course not.
So now there's Hit Row guy.
Hit Row guy.
Hit Row guy.
Shit row chance is normal. Okay.
Hit Row.
I don't need to hear that one guy who thinks he's too cool for school screaming it over and over and over and over and over again. Just stop,
he got your goat,
man.
huh?
God, he got on my nerves.
All right. I didn't mind him so much because I was too engaged with this whole segment. This was really fun. It was a great clash of two different awesome teams. I think they're going a really good place with this. I like the fact that ultimately it wasn't Wrestle. Raul Mendoza was dressed up like an absolute gangsta pimp in his suit. Santos Escobar also looked amazing in his suit. Joaquin Wilde still looking like, some sort of club pimp.